What if the light guiding your future didn't come from inside a classroom, but from the street outside your home? Every night at exactly 9, Ethan waited, not for a person, not for permission, for the light. The street light across from his house flickered on without ceremony, buzzing softly as it warmed. When it steadied, Ethan grabbed his backpack and stepped outside. That light was his classroom. Ethan lived in a small house where space was tight and noise was constant. His parents worked opposite shifts, both exhausted in ways they never spoke about. Inside, the television stayed on. Conversations overlapped. Arguments surfaced and dissolved without warning. There was no desk for Ethan, no quiet corner, no lamp he could rely on, so he adapted. The sidewalk beneath the streetlight became familiar. Cracked concrete, faded paint, the smell of dust and metal in the air. Ethan sat with his back against the fence. Books spread carefully across his knees, angling pages to catch every drop of light. People passed him. Some slowed, some stared. A few shook their heads. No one stopped. At school, Ethan wasn't considered remarkable. He wasn't disruptive. He wasn't celebrated. Teachers described him as trying. Trying was what you said when effort existed, but expectations were low. Ethan heard it all. He didn't argue. He studied. The streetlight taught him discipline. When it flickered during storms, Ethan learned to read faster. When bugs gathered near the glow, he learned to focus harder. When cold crept into his hands, he learned to keep going anyway. Studying wasn't romantic, it was survival. Ethan loved learning, but learning didn't love him back easily. Concepts took time to settle. He had to read things twice, sometimes 3 times. He rewrote notes because memory alone wasn't enough. He wasn't gifted. He was persistent. One evening, while Ethan worked through a math problem that refused to make sense, a car slowed near the curb. A man leaned out the window and watched him for a moment. "You studying?" the man asked. Ethan nodded, unsure. The man chuckled softly. "You're serious about it." Ethan didn't know how to answer that. The car drove away. Ethan returned to his book. At school, the gap widened. Other students joined clubs, study groups, after-school programs. Ethan went straight home, then back outside. Tests came and went. Ethan's grades hovered in the middle. Not failing, not impressive. The unspoken message followed him everywhere. He's not going anywhere special. Then came the test that nearly broke him. It was a major exam one teacher spoke about in lowered voices. The kind that determined placement, opportunity, trajectory. Ethan studied harder than he ever had. Every night under the streetlight, every weekend, every spare moment. When the results were posted, Ethan didn't look right away. He waited until the hallway cleared. His score sat just below the cutoff, not by much, by enough. The air left his chest quietly. No tears, no anger, just a heavy understanding settling into place. That night, Ethan didn't go outside. The streetlight flickered on without him. He sat inside, staring at his backpack, wondering if effort had limits he hadn't known about, wondering if some people simply worked hard to arrive at the same place others started. The thought scared him. The next night, Ethan went back outside. Not because he felt hopeful, because stopping felt worse. Something changed after that. Ethan stopped studying to pass tests. He started studying to understand. He questioned everything, broke problems down into pieces, explained concepts aloud to himself, even when it felt foolish. The streetlight didn't judge. It just stayed on. One night, rain poured down suddenly, soaking Ethan's books. He rushed to gather them, heart sinking as pages stuck together. A voice called out from a nearby porch, "Hey, come here." Ethan hesitated. An older woman waved him over, holding an umbrella. "You can't study like that," she said. She introduced herself as Mrs. Caldwell, a retired librarian. She had seen Ethan out there for weeks, months. She invited him onto the covered porch and brought out a small folding chair. "You remind me of someone," she said. Ethan studied there that night, then the next. Mrs. Caldwell didn't tutor him. She didn't lecture. She simply asked questions that made Ethan think differently. She showed him how to find patterns, how to slow down, how to trust understanding over speed. The streetlight still mattered, but now Ethan had something else: belief. At school, subtle shifts followed. Ethan's answers became clearer, his confidence steadier. Teachers paused when he spoke, not because he was louder, because he was precise. When the next placement exam came, Ethan didn't panic. He didn't rush. He worked carefully, methodically, the way the streetlight had taught him. When the results were posted, Ethan found his name above the line. Not barely, solidly. Opportunities followed programs, mentors, chances he had never been offered before. Ethan took none of them lightly. He knew how easily light could disappear. Years later, Ethan returned to his old street. The fence was still there. The sidewalk still cracked. The streetlight had been replaced with a newer model, brighter, steadier. Ethan smiled. He spoke at a local event for students who struggled quietly. He told them the truth. "Your environment doesn't get to decide your future," he said. "But it will test how much you want it." After the talk, a young boy tugged at Ethan's sleeve. "I study outside too," the boy said softly. Ethan knelt and smiled. "Then you already understand something important." The streetlight clicked on behind them, and for the first time, it wasn't just lighting the street. It was lighting a path,